for those of you who maybe you're not that far into 2A or you don't own a suppressor, you think it doesn't affect you, it does, because this is just another example of, and I hate to say it, you got a lot of soft Republicans that are out there thinking we can just do the bare minimum, call it a victory, and then go ahead and ask for donations because we're going to pretend that we've done something for your constitutionally affirmed rights, and that's not the way it works. So right now, and I mentioned this yesterday, the House Ways and Means Committee, they have a draft, their reconciliation draft, and in it, they're trying to act like this is a big Second Amendment win. They're going to reduce the extortion, the tax that you would have to pay on your suppressor from $200 to just $5, but yet it's still going to remain classified as an NFA item, meaning you have to go and beg the government, please, may I have a suppressed shooting, may I please, and still get all that permission, and they know what you have, et cetera, et cetera. And there are actually some Republicans that are going along with us, and they're going to try to act like it's a huge victory. And I've been hearing a lot of chatter behind the scenes on this. So obviously this cannot stand, especially when, we should have friendlier 2A legislation coming out of the House than this. Joining us right now is Knox Williams. He's the president and executive director of the American Suppressor Association, and we welcome him back. Knox, good to see you. So I just feel like this is such a lazy way to, like a lazy toss to voters. Like, oh, well, we're going to reduce from $200 to $5. But the big issue is that it's still going to be classified under NFA, which that's not a win at all. But I've literally been hearing from some people in DC that they think that this is like a great victory.
Yeah, and Dana, thanks for having me on again. It's truly a pleasure to chat with you. And I agree. I think that it's just the members who are pushing this in the House don't understand where the gun community lands and where they're coming from. It's 91 years that we've been taxed for our right to purchase suppressors. And at the end of the day, if we have an opportunity to do away with that tax entirely and get these things out of the NFA, the gun community wants our members of Congress to take that action. Period. Hard stop.
What is their argument for keeping it under a National Firearms Act? I don't understand their reluctance to move it off of that.
Honestly, that's a great question and one I can't fully answer for them. I can't comprehend it. And the draft that they put out, it has the reduction of the $200 transfer tax down to zero. So it seems to me to be a bit of a moot point, right? Like, if we're going to zero out the tax, why not just take the extra step to actually remove these things from the National Firearms Act? And the critical importance of that is because, again, this is a 91-year-old tax scheme that was set up in 1934. There is a federal registry called the NFRTR that exists solely as a record of taxes paid. And people don't want to have to deal with that. You shouldn't have to submit fingerprint cards. You shouldn't have to submit passport photos. You shouldn't have to ask permission from the ATF to be able to purchase these items. And yet here we are, and that's where it would stand if they even zeroed this tax out. So I think that a lot of these members think that they are generating a win, but it just isn't the win that they think it is, at least not in the eyes of the 2A community.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it just doesn't, because still that's the big issue. The big issue isn't, the transfer tax. The big issue is, the fact that it's still listed on this. And we've talked before, Knox, when you were on, when you go to, any other country, if you're in Europe, if you're in, South America, if you're wherever, and if you're not shooting suppressed, you're kind of looked at like, oh, that's so trashy. Like, it's just, bad form. Like, you're a bad guest. But yet here they act like I don't know what they think it contributes to. The difference is startling to me.
Yeah, I think that they're looking for the easiest path, right? And I understand that in the context of this reconciliation process. This is a very small component of the one big, beautiful bill that the president is trying to get to his desk. Certainly sympathetic to that, but gun owners shouldn't be the one taking it on the chin for the advancement of this package. And I also just really question whether or not they're doing the math right. Look, if you're going to bake this down to, what's in the best interest of the least conservative member of a committee, I don't think that's a way to run this. I think that you've got to look at holistically what impact this is going to have. And I just don't see, the hardliners on our side being willing to take this as a measure to get them to vote for other components of the reconciliation package that leadership is going to need them to vote for.
Yeah, we're talking, for those listening around the country and not watching the simulcast, we're talking with Knox Williams, who's the president and executive director of the American Suppressor Association. And I've tried, Knox, thinking, okay, well, what are the arguments that the left could make, or that, anti-Second Amendment advocates could make against these lawmakers removing, suppressors from being classified as NFA items. And I just don't think that there's like a good enough soundbite that they couldn't overcome unless they're that horrific at messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the weird part, right? Like, it's not a win for the 2A community, but you're still going to take all the flack from the anti-gunners, right? It's kind of a lose-lose situation. And I really genuinely think they don't see it that way, but it's really, it shows the disconnect between those members and the Second Amendment community.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on this. Is this likely? Do you think that there's going to be pushback against some of these more moderate members of the committee and or in the House to maybe like reconsider and remove this? I know because you've obviously the Hearing Protection Act is something that we very much support, and you've been doing a great job advocating for that. And the reason I asked the question that way is because I feel like if we miss our opportunity here with this, I don't know when that's going to come back around again.
Yeah, I agree completely. Look, I've been working at this since 2011. We wrote the Hearing Protection Act or helped write it in 2015. So it's been a decade of advocating to remove suppressors from the National Firearms Act. This is only the second time in that entire tenure where we have a legitimate shot at getting this done. These opportunities don't come around very often. Look, I think that we've got to be able to seize on the moment. And I think that is really at the core of why the Second Amendment community is so frustrated, because when these opportunities do arise, if we get soft on the issue, it's kind of like, why are we even participating?
Yeah.
And I think that's a message that the gun world is sending loud and clear to House Ways and Means and to Congress. I think that we all need to stand united in that front.
And when I look at some of the sound bites that these people, or not sound bites, but rather quotes that they've given, whether it's, they're walking back to the, the Hart building or wherever, and, they give little quotes to reporters outside. I honestly don't even think any of them have ever shot suppressed before with the way that they talk about it. And I feel like if you're going to sit here and legislate about firearms, maybe you should, kind of halfway know what you're talking about. And we joke about football. Like I know nothing about football. I live in like a football crazy house, and I'm the only person that does not know about football. It's like me joining, the NFL and being able to make regulations pertaining to the field. You would never have me do that. So like, why would you have these lawmakers do this about a constitutionally affirmed right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's something that we love to do, is take lawmakers out to the shooting range and expose them to what suppressed gunshots actually can and
Right.
more importantly, cannot do.
Yeah.
Because there is a massive disconnect there.
Yeah. They act like a bunch of gangbangers are running around the streets, and it's just all like silent, like pew pew, like that. It's not like that at all. Last quick question for you. And I don't want you to jeopardize any negotiations or positions that you have with these, or wherever you're at with these other lawmakers, and persuading them to see the light of liberty. But is there anybody that's just proven immovable that, maybe could deserve a little bit of heat?
Yeah, there certainly are. I don't want to blow up negotiations at this point, but what I can say is visit hearingprotectionact.com. It's a landing page that we have where you can put in your information and send an email to your elected official. That certainly helps. Call the House Ways and Means Committee as well. Those guys need to know and understand, hey, we want to see Section 2 of the Hearing Protection Act, which removes suppressors from the NFA, included in the reconciliation process. The more heat we can dial up, again, do it in a positive way. Don't come out attacking these folks, but just say, hey, look, I'm a constituent and I care.
Yeah.
Do it polite, but do it firm.
I would think that this would be a huge talking point too for the administration, and it might, be like a good make good for a lot of the stuff that people saw with bump stocks until the courts got involved. I think that would go a long way and kind of like normalizing those relationships with that community that got fractured during all of that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, but I agree with you. People need to be blowing up the phones, rhetorically speaking, to the House Ways and Means Committee members as well. Knox Williams, we'd love to have you back. Please keep us updated as to all of this, and we're going to watch as well, but we'll probably be reaching back out to you here shortly with as this thing progresses. Good to see you.
That sounds great. Dana, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.